Welcome to Time for Hope, a faith-based mental health program. Join our host, certified clinical mental health counselor and Christian psychotherapist Dr. Freda Crews, and her guests as they discuss real-life issues and offer expert clinical advice and solid biblical application for any and all life situations. Now, here's the host of Time for Hope, Dr. Freda Crews.
I'm Dr. Freda Crews, and I appreciate you joining me for another edition of Time for Hope. With me today is psychologist, author, and director of Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Dr. Douglas Weiss, and he's going to be sharing and interacting with me related to his book titled Married and Alone. After reviewing the book, I am afraid too many spouses suffer the pain and disillusionment of feeling lonely or alone in their marriages. God never intended this to be true when He instituted marriage, and Dr. Weiss desires to help you find the fulfillment and satisfaction in your marriage that God did intend for us. For more, stay with us. And Dr. Weiss, it's great having you back on Time for Hope.
Oh, it's good to be here, Freda.
And of course, it's going to be Doug from now on.
That's right.
We count you a regular, and with all these books you're putting out, we have reason to have you back often, and we appreciate your time and your insights and so on and so forth that you come to share with us on Time for Hope. I want to quote something directly to start with right out of your book, because as we get prayer requests and people responding to the program, one of the outstanding things that we hear about is marriage. And of course it makes sense when you think about it. We're engaged in marriage. Most people are engaged in marriage at some time in their lifetime. And you say marriage is the only relationship that by definition demands emotional, spiritual, and sexual intimacy on an exclusive, committed basis over a prolonged period of time, or as the vow goes, till death do us part.
Yeah, and most of us actually went down the aisle, we've made that commitment, and we really married for happily ever after. I mean, we married to be loved, to be touched, to be spiritually connected, to be physically connected, to be socially connected, and to feel, what God designed in marriage. For us to feel a friendship and a connectedness with another person that's kind of our buddy, our teammate, our friend. And yet so many people, even Christians, they feel alone. They actually feel unwanted, Freda. They feel disconnected, and they feel rejected on an ongoing basis.
Unloved.
Unloved.
Loved is the word. We all long to be loved.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're looking for if we're going to be honest with ourselves when we enter into that relationship, when we say, I do,
yes,
or that I will, or whatever we say. God intended it. Doug, after reading your book and going through it, I realize a lot of people, as I said on the introduction, are engaged in these kinds of marriages. But if they could ever taste, just for a little while, what God really intended for two people to get out of a relationship. I think that and you're in the counseling business, and you probably see this. If they could ever get that taste, they wouldn't want to change it. They'd want to engage and build it.
You can train people to desire intimacy. Now, when you're married alone, what we're talking about is a man or woman who's married to someone with what we call intimacy anorexia.
I want to get into the anorexia before you get into the intimacy.
Yes.
Let's say that. Let's define anorexia.
Okay. Intimacy anorexia is the active withholding of spiritual and emotional and physical intimacy from their spouse. Everyone else thinks they're wonderful, and it's got about 9 characteristics, real quick.
But no, the anorexia. Let's do that first.
Okay.
about the withholding. What are anorexics withholding? Not without.
Well, they're withholding love. They keep themselves so busy they got no time for their spouse, so they're withholding time. They withhold love. They withhold praise. They blame their spouse for the problems in the relationship. They're oftentimes use anger or silence as a way to control. They have ongoing or ungrounded criticism. Some of them control and shame with money. They withhold sex. I mean, they withhold their heart basically from their spouse. And what happens is over there as a spouse, you feel very alone. You beg to be loved, you do more of this, more of that, you lose weight, you gain weight, you get this done, and it's like you're on this perpetual treadmill to want to be wanted or wanted to be loved. They keep saying, yeah, I'm going to love you, I'm going to love you, if you do this, and then you do that and you still don't get loved. And it feels awful. Mm-hmm. You know, I had a lady in my office just this last week who, when she grew up, her parents were really neglectful, and then she married this guy who was really neglectful. So she's 52 years old and has never been loved. And she feels very alone in her marriage. Now they're getting better, which the good news is you can get better. You know, the husband's willing to work on it and do the recovery of intimacy anorexia that he can, so that she can feel loved and connected. But if you're alone in a marriage, that is one of the worst feelings in the world.
It's worse than being out of a marriage in some ways, to be alone in a marriage.
Yes, if you're alone by yourself, that's one thing. But if you're alone and you're laying next to someone who hasn't touched you for 2 years or months or weeks, or hasn't spoken to you a kind word, or hasn't even seen you, like behold you, they just walk by you. Mm-hmm. You feel so neglected, and you feel so, I mean, I had a lady in my office, another lady this last week, I mean, a beautiful, gorgeous woman, could have been a model on any magazine type of woman, and her husband neglects her, and she felt ugly, she felt unwanted, she felt fat, because her husband doesn't touch her, doesn't connect to her. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
He's not
involved with another woman. He took a polygraph. He's not cheating on her. Mm-hmm. He just does, he's intimacy anorexic, so he just neglects her and pushes her away and creates distance from her all the time. And so the person who pays for that is the spouse, whether it's a man or a woman. You know, like with other addictions like alcohol or drugs, the addict pays the price. With intimacy anorexia, I starve you. You pay the price for my safety and my being disconnected. And so the spouse has all these feelings.
Is the spouse happy with the situation like it is that does this?
No, they get angrier and angrier and angrier. Some of the symptoms we talk about in the book are lower self-esteem, like this lady didn't feel beautiful anymore.
No, but I mean the
anorexic.
The anorexic.
Oh, they're pretty happy, yeah, pretty happy because they don't have to give themselves. See, the intimacy anorexic comes from a total sum game emotionally. So they believe there's 100% of Bob, okay, if he's the anorexic. And if I give Sally 2% of me, now there's only 98% of me left. So I have to keep track of everything I give, okay, instead of understanding that we are beings of infinite able to give, right? So I can give you 30, 40% of me and there's still 100% of me left. Okay, so the intimacy anorexic actually feels safe, which it's more important for them to feel safe than happy. And as long as you're not expecting a lot of emotions and a lot of connecting, they feel safe. And that is more important than nurturing you and celebrating you and seeing you.
Well, when we look at the sexual intimacy in a marriage, it literally, if it's to fulfill the couple, and it is a total giving of each other to each other.
Yes, ma'am.
And looking toward the other one being
their needs. Yes.
It kind of crosses over.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is experienced. A lot of couples do experience.
If you're having an intimate marriage, you're going to have intimate sex. But if you're not having an intimate marriage, you're not going to have intimate sex. And so, he may be off thinking about other things, or she's disconnected.
Most people have it turned around that if you're having good sex, you're going to have a good marriage.
That's not always true.
That's not always true. Yeah.
Because
people
sex
can
is
have
spirit,
that
soul, and
outside
body.
of a marriage.
You can have a great physical sexual relationship, but you might not be having a spiritual and emotional.
Soulish,
you know what I'm saying? Spirit, soul, and body. God made spirit, soul, and body. And when you're having all three, then you're having what God created, gold sex. Otherwise, you could be having great bronze sex and not know that you're missing gold.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I would say that's probably true of a lot of people.
Sadly so.
Yeah, I would think so. So then you have described, but I'm still trying to see where this word anorexia comes from.
It's me withholding my heart from you.
No, but if we as a counselor,
Yeah.
you know that there are people that are physically
yes.
anorexic.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to
They're
get
withholding
at.
food from themselves.
Okay,
They're
alrighty.
starving themselves.
They're the ones that starve themselves.
Right. Real skinny, bald, yeah.
Some even die.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to get that
intimacy
out.
anorexia is, I'm starving you. I'm starving you of spiritual intimacy. I'm starving you of emotional intimacy.
Not
I won't pray
myself,
with you. I'm not going to starve me. I'm going to starve you. I could be a pastor. I'm not going to pray with you as my wife. Okay, I could be even a counselor, but I'm not going to share my feelings with you as my wife. I'm going to be great at work, but I'm not going to share my heart with you.
I've seen it over and
Oh my
over.
gosh, yeah, yes, you have. You've been around long enough. You've seen this a lot of times, and you've seen couples who are, ministry, teen people, but at home their marriage is so disconnected. One's on the computer, one's on the TV, one's reading a book. They sleep in different rooms or even live in different places. And we see this happening because of intimacy anorexia. We don't know what the problem is, we can't fix it. But once you know what the problem is, you can fix it. Intimacy anorexia is something that someone can heal from and actually have great spiritual, emotional, and sexual relationships. We do 3-day and 5-day intensives in Colorado Springs. I have couples who haven't had sex in 10 years. Okay, within weeks, they're not only having sex, they like
sleep
each
in
other.
The same bed or different?
Some of them do.
They do.
How painful is that?
Yes.
Yes,
that'd
be very painful. And there's men and women watching right now who that's what's going on, but they can't tell anybody because they're good Christian people, and everyone thinks they're doing well. And they can't go to their pastor and say, Pastor, we haven't had sex in 6 months, or my husband doesn't touch me, or my wife won't have sex with me. Now, sometimes it's because the husband's starving her of intimacy, but there's not a lot of places where they can go and talk about this. So we're one of those places because intimacy anorexia, and it's global. I know your audience is all around the world. We get emails from Europe, South America, Africa, and the Asian area, from people who are, once they hear this concept, they go, oh my gosh, that's what I'm living with. I'm married and alone. I'm living with intimacy anorexia. Oh my gosh. And it's true.
They're happy just to get a diagnosis of what's going on.
Well, once you know what the problem is, it's great. I had a person in my office who saw a show, and they're like, you described my marriage. No one's ever articulated how alone and disconnected and unwanted I felt. And when you said that, I went online, I checked it out, I go, oh my gosh, that's what I'm living with. And so then they show up in my office, or they make a phone call or buy the books or whatever, and they start a process of healing. And then the call is, oh my gosh, we're so much better. That's why we're doing this today, is that there's hope for this. You don't have to stay stuck.
It must be gratifying, Doug, to know that you are helping and ministering to people like that. And we hopefully will talk more about it. We've got 2 weeks, by the way.
Okay, great.
But it is time for me to go out on a break, and
all right.
we will be right back. Marriages can become boring, irritating, unsatisfying, and conflictual. Sometimes this is the result of one or both failing to get the other to respond to his or her needs, leaving them to feel alone in their marriage. Couples can fail to get what they need from each other because they are afraid to ask, or ask in self-defeating ways. To ridicule or nag your spouse will usually prove ineffective. But you answer, what am I supposed to do when my mate is unresponsive to my needs? Consider the fact that he or she may have come from an environment that keeps him or her from understanding your needs. Or possibly your spouse, for various reasons, is intentionally ignoring you and your requests. Rather than trying to force your spouse to do what you keep asking him or her to do, why not spend your time and energy on trying new ways to get their attention? You can start immediately by checking your memory for things you know that please your mate and write them down. Then ask your mate for a talk time and go over the list with him or her. If he or she agrees with you, then negotiate a contract with them. You will agree to meeting their reasonable and appropriate needs on your list and any additional ones they mention if he or she will reciprocate. In this way, you can get the things you have been asking for without blaming, complaining, or nagging. The negotiations could go something like this. If you will compliment me when I look nice, then I will make every effort to be ready to go on time. Or, I don't like it when you raise your voice at me. It makes me feel like a child. If you will talk to me like I am an adult, then I will remain in the room while we are discussing our differences. Otherwise, I will exit the room. Two things that need to be happening in these kinds of negotiations are recognition of your needs as valid and a willingness to make them known to your spouse, and a commitment on the part of your spouse to do the same. Your greatest challenge will be to refrain from expecting your spouse to provide all of your relationship love and intimacy needs. Instead, I encourage you to believe that your deepest longings for love and intimacy can be met in a relationship with Jesus Christ that will keep you from feeling that you are alone, although you are married. Thanks for staying with me as we continue our discussion with Dr. Douglas Weiss about his book, Married and Alone. And Doug, you were really going at it, and I had to interrupt you to get out on break, but they interrupt me. So
I understand that happens.
But we were moving along real well, and I want that to continue, of course. We are out to help, as I said early on in the introduction, people that recognize and realize that this is what they're into, this kind of marriage, and that this is what we could say is wrong with the spouse that is doing, causing the pain, and with doing the withholding and so forth, as an anorexic does. But before the 2 weeks is up, we're gonna be describing what it's like, and we're gonna be talking about the causes, and then we want to close out with that great hope, and then how to recover. And what couples can do, and so forth. So that's the goal of the 2 weeks. One of the things that I like you said right off the bat, and I think this will even give some people some hope right off the bat, that you are not to blame. The spouse that is being,
not to blame.
Yes, that is living with an intimacy anorexic, they're not to blame.
Not at all. I'd like to kind of talk to them about that, because like if you're married to someone who has intimacy anorexia, it's not about your beauty, it's not about your sexuality, it's not about your age, it's not about a wrinkle, and that's not why you're not being loved or haven't been loved. It's because there's something broken inside your spouse, whether they're a man or a woman, and that brokenness keeps them from loving and giving love to you. That's why. Please don't blame yourself. I have so many men and women who blame themselves for, why am I not good enough? Why don't you love me? Why don't you want me? And it wouldn't matter who you were, because of their anorexia, they wouldn't want you.
And if we really knew about the lives, and we're going to look at some of that, of these anorexics, we would have compassion for them.
For the most part, yeah, you would.
Yes, except the angry ones. I don't have much
Usually you're
compassion
dealing with someone who, like, oftentimes there's brokenness inside. So sometimes that brokenness is sexual abuse. They've been abused, so they don't want intimacy. Intimacy is scary for them, and so they push you away. Some of them, it's attachment to the cross-gender. So if they're a man, they didn't have a real intimate or safe relationship with mom, so they don't want a relationship with the woman. Or if it's a woman with their dad, and so felt unsafe or violating. Sometimes it's sexual addiction. They've created an attachment to a fantasy world, a pornography, and so they don't really desire to attach to another person. And for some, it's like the role modeling thing with mom and dad. There was no intimacy with them, none. And so they didn't see it, and they didn't grow up with it. They weren't attached to either one of them. And so any one of those causes can cause compassion, so that you want to go, you know what, you're hurting, but you're also hurting me. That ain't right.
But as you say in your book, they're really married to themselves.
Well, that's
and
important.
They're not able to see beyond themselves. And when in counseling, I'm sure you can get them to start looking at the true you. There is a country song, I hear it from time to time, that says, I don't like to see men cry, so I don't look in the mirror, because they're crying and they don't want to see men cry, and especially themselves.
Yes.
And I would think that's kind of like who we're talking about as a spouse. They're afraid to look inside. They're afraid to look at themselves from a psychological, emotional, and spiritual perspective, afraid of what they would find and see.
Well, with the intimacy anorexic, they live in what we call object relationship with self. So there's the good Bob or good Mary, who goes to church, a wonderful guy or gal, and then there's this Darth Vader person, and they have problems. They feel loved or not loved. It's or instead of both and. They're flawed and loved instead of flawed or loved, is what I meant to say. And as an anorexic looks into their heart and they can see that, hey, I'm intentionally withholding love from you, that's what's really hard for them to buy. I'm intentionally doing this to you.
They are doing it intentionally, and whether they want to admit it or not, they're getting something out of doing it.
Like, how do you hit
it's a punishment like that they're putting out.
Well, it is punishment. It's cruelty.
Yes.
But how can you hit a target 1,000% of the time with not aiming? There's intentionality, and they know how to push their spouse away, whether it's blaming them or being angry or being critical or withholding words. They know how to withhold. Like, they intuitively know how to love their spouse. How do I know this, Freda? Because when the spouse threatens divorce or threatens something severe,
they can change.
They can show up for about 7 days.
They were not like that before they said I do either, many times.
No, they usually were pretty affectionate and giving.
Winsome and
all that stuff.
Knew how to win them and that sort of stuff.
But you close the door of marriage, now there's no escape. And for the intimacy anorexic, something happens to them where they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't want to give them, they don't give their heart to their spouse. That's really sad.
Let's look at the causes that you have in your book of these anorexics. Why are they that way? Sexual trauma, as you said, they could have been abused sexually as a child. Attachment issues with the opposite parent, as you brought out. Sexual addiction, you brought that out. And role modeling neglect. So we've already actually...
those characteristics are there, but they're not an excuse. Okay, there is no...
They're not a cop-out, are they?
When you meet Jesus, there's no excuse not to love. You know, I've been abused, abandoned, neglected, addicted. I mean, I'm not anorexic in any way.
And they have no business ever getting married if they can't deal with these things.
Well, the thing is, when you're married, you say, I'm covenanted to protect you instead of protecting me. See, what a person loves is what they protect. And an intimacy anorexic protects themselves. So when you were talking about being married to themselves, that's right. They protect them, and
they're always number one. They're always number one.
And they make and what happens is, if it comes to me or you, they will always sacrifice their spouse. And that's not right in marriage. That's very sad, actually.
Very sad. And then sexual addiction, you spent a lot of time on that in your book with... I don't know all that you were trying to bring out about sexual addiction, but it has to be looked at in these situations, doesn't it?
If someone's intimacy anorexic, they got a pretty significant shot of having a secret porn, self-behavior, or other behaviors that they're withholding from their spouse. It's always good to ask that question to get healed. It
is time for us to go out for this week.
Okay.
But I do encourage you, our viewers, to remember that we're going to be joined again by Dr. Weiss next week on this same subject, and the title of his book is Married and Alone, which you might already want to go ahead and order. You would be ahead of us doing that, but that's okay. There's plenty in this book we're not going to get to cover, and we would be delighted to have you get a copy of the book, and I encourage you before it's over, of course, to get a copy of Dr. Weiss's book. And then I have something to share with you from a viewer. Dear Dr. Freda, please pray for my marriage. My wife and I are having problems and are not getting along. Now that's the story of many, 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 many couples. She goes to bed angry at night. Now, I'm suspecting she has a reason for going to bed angry. Please pray that we would have peace in our home. But apparently this is the husband that is writing this to me, and the wife does have a problem with anger, and we don't know the rest of the story, but I do know this: we have prayed to our Heavenly Father for this person and for this marriage, and we are believing and that God will, if they will turn to Him, intervene in their situation and turn their marriage around. Marriages can be turned around, and Dr. Weiss is a witness to that fact in his counseling ministry in Colorado Springs and wherever else he ministers in counseling, that there's hope. There is hope. So, and believe that we take these prayer requests seriously. And then I have a note of encouragement. Dear Dr. Freda, thank God for your program, Time for Hope. I appreciate your faithfulness to Christ Jesus for airing these programs. Please remember me in your prayers. God bless you. And again, everyone that asks us to remember them in prayer, we do. We try never to miss one, leave one out, or anything. So and it's a blessing to us for you to trust us with your situations and trust our prayers to have power with God, as it were. And so don't hesitate to send us your prayer requests. And if you have not taken it up with the Lord about how to support this program, this worldwide program now, then I would encourage you to do that also. But we do really appreciate your being a viewer of Time for Hope. So don't forget to join us next week, and we'll be taking up where we left off with Dr. Weiss.
A free fact sheet that contains additional information about today's topic is available upon request from our ministry. You can also receive a copy of today's resource for a contribution of any amount to the Time for Hope ministry. Call us at 800-669-9133. Write us at Post Office Box 2169, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. Or visit our website at timeforhope.org. When you call or write, prayerfully consider a donation to our ministry. Our ministry's mission is to offer hope to discouraged and hurting people. As we continue to give out messages of hope, a financial gift of any amount to support this ministry will be greatly appreciated. When you do this, you are joining us in offering hope to many viewers seeking help and hope for their situation. This will also enable us to inform and inspire some viewers to expand our mission, as they learn and in turn can minister more effectively to hurting people around them. To see this program again online, go to our website or search for Time for Hope TV on YouTube, iTunes, and Facebook. Until next time, have a great week, and remember, it is time for hope.